Welcome. If you have ever struggled before with ditching sugar or feeling like you're in this continuous perpetual pattern with sugar, feeling like, I need to get rid of it, but I'm really not sure, what the steps are, if you've ever tried to get rid of sugar in your diet and you have flat out not been successful doing it, this is for you. And we're going to go through really quick, short little explanation of a very new, cutting edge neuroscientific way that to overcome that hurdle far better than you ever have thought possible and very quickly too. And so, welcome if you're new and you've not met me before. My name is Dena Wolf. I am a holistic nurse. I've been through tons and tons of trainings, webinars, educational series, through functional medicine. I've been a nurse for 22 years. I've been a holistic nurse for 15. I thoroughly love helping other people overcome health challenges, create new, wonderful lifestyle changes that help to promote and catapult them on a journey to wellness. And so, welcome. This is going to be a life changing experience that will completely alter the way that you deal with sugar, but also like empower you to help reclaim your overall health and well being. So, welcome. The objectives here today are to help you understand how your brain actually works, why you crave the things that you crave, understand there's some patterns at play, and overcome how some of those filters that we've grown up with and taken on are associated with what it is that we are doing. And then also identify some blind spots that you may have in your sugar story. And so, welcome. When we speak, we take the richness of our sensory experiences and attempt to convey them with words. And so this happens like as we speak. I'm really doing as best as I possibly can to explain it in a way that is very easy to understand, right? We do this on a regular basis. Our brain takes on tons of information all day, every day, and sometimes it can't process every single little teeny thing that comes at it, right? We are inundated. The other day I was just driving down the street and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never noticed that building before. Has that ever happened to you where you're like, oh, when did they put that up? And you find out it's been there for like 20 years and you're like, I just never noticed it before. Your brain is constantly working on deciding what gets filtered and in and what doesn't. And so there's three things that it does. It deletes, so we leave out some aspect of it, and this is why I never noticed that weird building. We also generalize. We take one example and we represent it in a class of all different kinds of experiences, right? So we associate it with something that's familiar. And then we also distort. So we give more weight to some aspects. So like maybe we embellish the story or we fill in the gaps and that kind of thing. And so there's many ways that our brain plays, I say like little tricks on us, right? To keep from having to filter so much information that's coming at it. There's just so much stimulus, there's just no way that we could process all that stimulus all the time. Right. And so during this sweet liberation, many of us have struggled with sugar. Sugar is far more addictive than cocaine. It is a massive problem for us Americans. We are at a 96% rate of metabolic disorder. What does that mean? It's changing our hormones. It's making us not be able to lose weight. It is messing with the way that we process all of the metabolic things, all the systems that are at play, all of the things that control your hormones and how cascades happen, how you convert things, whether you feel full, whether you feel hungry, your insulin levels, your sleep patterns, all of these things are affected by our metabolism. And 96% of Americans do not function at optimal level. That's huge. We're dealing with so many metabolic issues right now. And one of the biggest problems that we deal with is sugar and our tendency to lean towards sugar for many, many things. And so this is a 4-week process that we're going to be going through together. And I want to kind of give you like a little sneak peek of what we're going to be diving into. I want you to, number one, understand your sugar story. It's not your fault. We're going to uncover the emotional and the physiological triggers behind your cravings, the sugar cravings. And we want to begin your journey with a mindful practice that illuminates your relationship with sugar. Okay. And so, what I mean by that is like for me, when I was young, my parents were divorced, and in my mom's home, we were not allowed to have really any sugar at all. My sister was made fun of at school for being a little bit overweight, and so my mom, full force, did everything she knew in her power to help my sister overcome that weight issue. She started making her exercise more. She changed all of our foods to whole wheat, and she made everything from scratch, which was awesome. But then that meant that we were not allowed to have any sugar whatsoever. So then when we went to my dad's house, my dad would say, "If you're really good, I'll let you get a candy bar." And so he then instilled a reward system utilizing sugar as the reward. Can you relate to that? I mean, a lot of us have that as a tool where maybe it's an emotional management type issue, right? Where we have maybe utilized sugar to help us manage some sort of emotion. Consuming sugar can actually help trigger the release of dopamine, and this is a neurotransmitter that helps us feel like pleasure and good and reward. So, can you see how little tiny things like that? I know Jillian Michaels, who was one of the biggest trainers on Biggest Loser, the TV show where they just shrink down and are like half of what they were, right? She also, her dad utilized food as a reward system, and that's how she became overweight as a young child. And so this is a short-term emotional lift, to help us kind of deal with emotions, maybe sadness, stress, or oftentimes boredom. Can you relate to any of that? You know, it's not your fault. It's just how we were programmed growing up, and we then see sugar through a different lens. We then see stress through a different lens and how to soothe that stress. Oh, I need a piece of something sweet. Oh, I need a sweet treat. Or I need to have some chocolate, or, you know, whatever it is for you. I mean, you put in the chat if you can relate to any of this at all so far. In the week 2, we're going to take a look at some creative detox pathways. We're going to explore unique and enjoyable alternatives to sugary temptations. I love taking a habit and creating a whole new one. To me, it's super simple to do. You know, you're going to be able to utilize this in a lot of different ways. And so, taking something that is that sweet treat, or, oh, I need it, I got to have it, or it's been a habit for so long, don't worry. We're going to find dietary swaps, lifestyle adjustments to help that sugar hold on you. The goal is really to get rid of it altogether. And that's what we've seen a lot of people do, just even in the first couple weeks. It's been transformational. And that is the goal through this process. We do also have something called conditioned responses. This is where cravings can be seen as conditioned if, like, consuming too much sugar has been like repeatedly paired with emotional situations or sometimes times of the day. I remember when I worked at the desk, it would be 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You'd start to kind of like doze off. You're like, oh, I just need a quick pick me up. Let me just go get that sweet treat with the caffeine. And that's a good combo for me to help automatically boost my mental stimulation for the day, right? And sometimes for us, it can be things like, oh, I just had dinner. Now I need dessert. Has that ever happened to you too? Yeah. We also deal with things called state changes, and this is where sugar can quickly alter our physiological state, giving us that little boost of energy and that mood lift. This is what I talked about, like at that 3 o'clock lull, sitting behind my desk, I'd be like, oh, hey, it's 3 o'clock. And I had my brain so trained to go and get that sweet treat with the coffee. And many of us use that sugar crave to change our state from tired or too energetic or from maybe sad to happy. And with my neuroscience techniques, we will actually examine some of these desired states and how sugar is used as a tool to achieve them. And then what we're going to do is rewire your brain so that we find positive ways to not rely on sugar for energy or lifting our mood. And also in some of our neuroscience studies, we find that internal conflicts between different parts of ourselves, they drive behaviors like sugar consumption. So for example, one part of a person might really want to eat something healthy while another part of us wants to seek comfort and pleasure in the sugar. So you have this like internal conflict. Do I indulge? Do I not indulge? I really want to lose weight and do what's best for me and combat my inflammation, but I just really want the pleasure. And so you have that internal conflict. And our goal through this program is to silence that so that you know what is inherently best for you. Those filters don't keep playing out, and you could do what you want to do and reach your goals more quickly and efficiently. Week 3, we'll actually be looking through building resilience against the cravings, and you're going to master those craving busting techniques really, really well. We're going to use some very neuroscience based methods. I've gone through extensive training to learn these techniques and tools. They are phenomenal. They really harness the power of your mind to control the impulses and make empowered choices for you. In fact, it really becomes so ingrained then that it doesn't even feel like a choice anymore. It just feels like a habit that you have instilled, which is great. We also deal with something called disempowering beliefs, and I want to help you discover through this course how to identify your underlying beliefs. Things like, I deserve this treat, or I can't cope without sugar. We often say those things. I've even just used the one, I just need a sweet treat. This is one that I hear very often, right? And what I want to do is take that reinforcement that we've been dealing with, that dependency on sugar for reward, and take that whole mindset, and we're going to implant whole new tools, basically challenge those thought processes. We're going to remove and pluck out those limiting beliefs, and we are going to implant and instill more empowering new ones that allow you to achieve your goals. Does that sound fun? It sounds like it's a lot of work, but it's actually so, so simple with my help. And so week 4, we're going to take crafting your sugar-free blueprint. We're going to be designing a personalized, sustainable plan to maintain your freedom from sugar. We're going to celebrate your victories, set intentions for continued journey of vibrant health. And we are going to actually, during this 4-week process, we are actually going to be rewiring your brain to create new patterns and pathways that allow you to overcome and reach your goals, which is so awesome. This is another success story. Joining the Sweet Liberation program completely transformed my relationship with food. Before working with Dena, I couldn't resist sugary treats. They were my go-to for comfort during emotional lows, and now I find myself naturally and simply resisting sweets, something I never imagined could actually happen. This shift has been life-changing. I've learned healthier ways to cope with my emotions, and instead of turning to sugar, I now turn to activities that truly nourish and fulfill me. I feel liberated and empowered. I finally feel free from the grip of sugar, and it's all thanks to the incredible support and guidance I received throughout this program. I know better now, I do better, and thank you so much for helping me find my path to true freedom. I currently have about 6 seats open. If you would like to grab your spot for the next 4-week transformation, you can secure it today. I'll put the link below here, where you, not sugar, are in control. Are you ready to taste the sweetness of freedom? I do offer one-on-one and I offer group. I will go ahead and put the links for both of those below. I look forward to seeing you on this journey to sweet liberation.